What's up, everyone? Dean Giarizzo here with Tag and Brag, and I am here to do another breakdown of a self-film bow hunt here in New York. This particular hunt took place last year, November 8th, in New York. This is a beautiful 3-year-old buck that Dave and I had decided prior to the season, if at all possible, we were going to let go. We ended up letting him go 3 different times, but this is a great hunt to break down because it's a rut hunt. It's a little bit different than our early season, maybe late season hunts when we want to have all the action, or most of the action, out in front of us to help our filming. This was just a hardwoods rut bow hunt where the deer could come from literally anywhere, but you're going to see how my setup helps me capture the hunt. I spotted this deer just after sunrise, and of course, I'm facing what happens to be to the southeast of me, and this deer is coming from directly behind me. I just happened to be glassing, and I caught him coming from directly behind me, spotted him about 80 yards away, and you can see he gets into about 30 yards right here. But let's stop this for a second because you can see the tree I'm in. I'm viewing everything off in front of me. That's where I want the deer to go. This is a bottom and a swamp down in front of me where I think the deer are going to be traveling, but it's the rut. You know, anything can happen. The deer can come from anywhere. This deer comes from directly behind me, directly, I think, downwind of the wind that day. As we always talk about having the camera on our right side, got the bow hung up on my left. I have 2 second angles for my GoPro in this situation. I got a tree that's right here, both pine trees, excellent self-filming trees to be in, but just hunting in general. You get a little bit of scent cover, I believe, from the pine needles if you break them up, and they just create dark structure. Everything that's under them is just kind of dark and blended together. If you look out in the distance, I got some pines around me, and if I'm out in one of these open straight trees, I'm going to be able to be defined and picked out very easily. If you're under one of these pines, you kind of blend into your surroundings. It's a lot harder for the deer to pick you out. So that's why I'm in the tree I'm in. I actually have the tree arm on this tree, which is on my right side, but the tree is so close, I get more extension on the arm if I have it out to my right, and a little bit more flexibility if the deer come from behind me, or if they're to my left. A lot of times what happens is if you have the tree arm on the actual tree that your stand is in, and the deer on your left side, well, you have to wrap that arm around the front of you, or you got to go behind you to capture the deer. Well, because this tree sets up this way, this is kind of a bonus for me, a tree on the right. It helps me wrapping that tree arm out to the right if there were to be a deer out to my left. But because this deer's coming behind me, I have already identified him. In this particular instance, I know which deer it is, so I know I'm not going to shoot. This deer comes within 5 yards of my tree. I mean, absolutely picture perfect for what I wanted any other mature buck to do. This so happens to be a buck that we decided to pass up, but this is my other camera angle, as you can see. So I have one on the right tree facing this way, one on my actual tree that the tree stand is in, facing a little bit to the left. This allows a majority of the picture to be captured if I wasn't able to capture the hunt with the main camera here. I have everything set up perfect. Even though this buck came from behind me, he came up a trail right behind the tree, went right underneath me. If this were to be a deer that I was going to shoot, I got the camera on my right side, both GoPros are on. I could have worked this camera with my right hand, grab my bow with my left, and this deer is going to walk right out in front of me in perfect position for both GoPros to capture, and I would have been in perfect position to have my main camera on him and come up with a shot. With rut hunts especially, this is where having 2 GoPros really helps us, because when you can hear it is dead quiet this particular day. When you hear deer coming, we usually go right to our GoPros, boom, boom, get the GoPros running before you even see the deer. And it was so quiet that that's exactly what happened on this particular day. I got both my GoPros on, and that's why I didn't actually get the main camera on him until he was about 35 yards behind me. But just an ideal setup for self filming. Camera arms about hip level on your right side. You got at least one GoPro angle. Again, it's just our general go-to setup for self filming. Camera arm on your right side if you're a right-handed bow shooter. Bow's hanging over there to my left. I can easily get the camera on a deer, be able to throw my binoculars up and identify who it is and know right away, shooter or not, and what I need to do to make the next steps to either make a shot happen or just get great footage of a deer that we might not shoot, which was what happened in this case. Just a perfect example of why I set the cameras up the way I did. I was able to get excellent footage of this deer walk right by me, and if it had been a shooter, this could have been an incredible hunt on film, self-filmed all by myself, just because of the way I had it set up. This particular spot is very far back in the woods, and the light setups with the carbon arm from Fourth Arrow Camera Arms is what allows me to really get back into this area and to be able to hunt as mobily as I am right now. So if you're interested in any of the equipment we use, fourtharrowcameraarms.com. If you have any questions about the way we set up our hunts, whether it's in blinds, early season, late season, or in the rut like this instance here, feel free to shoot us a message, ask any questions, and we'll be with you next time on the next Hunt Breakdown.